The following program is a collaboration between Whatcom Community College and KMRE News. Today's KMRE conversation is with the primary candidates for the Whatcom County executive race. With 6 candidates in the field, we want to help our listeners understand the differences between the candidates by giving each of them a chance to answer the questions that are on our listeners' minds. Each candidate was given a total of 20 minutes to answer the same questions. Today, we are presenting all the candidates' response to one of those questions. You can hear each candidate's complete interview by going to kmre.org. Right now, the county and the small cities are having a vigorous debate around their urban growth areas as they attempt to accommodate the growing population squeezed out of Bellingham. What will you do to navigate this dispute?
My name is Dan Purdy. I'm a candidate for Whatcom County Executive. Well, the first thing we have to do is bring all of the parties together and just really talk about what's possible. You know, one of the things that's really concerning to me about the urban growth is that we don't have a plan for emergency preparedness. What happens when we have our next historic floods, when the earthquake fault around Boulder Creek goes, if we were to have some type of landslide, or, I mean, for heaven forbid, we have Mount Baker eruption. Because of our geographic location, our back is up against the wall with British Columbia, our right arm is against the Straits of Juan de Fuca, we've got the mountain range to the left, and it's just a really tenuous position to be in. So with all of these urban growth problems that we do have, we've got to walk through every individual need that we have, which includes things like sewer, housing, additional ADUs, things like emergency preparedness, making sure that we've got the proper equipment in place for our first responders, law enforcement. We need to have additional deputies. Right now we're below the national average at roughly 0.8 versus the 1.2 national deputies per 1,000 people. I mean, it's really challenging with where we're at right now, but it's also exciting because lots of people want to come and live in Whatcom County. And of course, we've all chosen to be here.
My name is Misty Flowers, and I'm running for Whatcom County Executive. Well, in talking to the public, a lot of the issues that come up tend to evolve around the long time in trying to permit, figuring out how to get a permit, whether they will get approved for a permit or not. So I think that needs to be more streamlined so the public is aware of what their options are and also what their obligations are if they're going to be building. And I definitely, sorry, I drew a blank there. But I think this is a big issue, and it does require a lot of different voices at the table, including the public engagement on that.
My name is Barry Buchanan. I'm currently the chair of the Whatcom County Council, and I am running for Whatcom County Executive. Well, I think the urban growth area issue is big. Just the urban-rural inequity in housing is a big thing, and I think one thing we can look at to that is impact fees. Impact fees are those fees that are charged development for schools, for transportation, and for parks and things like that. The county hasn't been eligible for that kind of funding because we were not GMA compliant, but now we are. So I think the county should really be looking into how they can kind of level that playing field of housing costs between the rural and urban divide. And given more equity, I think we can get more infill and more of that growth within the urban areas instead of the sprawl out into the county. I don't support a lot of that sprawl. I think we need to really focus on our urban areas and our UGAs. We should be looking at utilizing those UGAs for density.
Well, my name is Satpal Singh Sidhu, and I've been on the council for 5 years, and then I became county executive starting 2020. Well, I think that land use policy changes and density. I think Bellingham has done a good job last 3-4 years. They have built very few single family homes, put it this way. Their emphasis, 80-90% have been going on the multifamily homes, which is great. But there is a demand for single family homes as well. And that population, those buyers, residents have moved to the small cities. And at the same time, the balancing part is we do not want to build on our best agricultural land, especially Linden Ferndale is running out of the lands. which are human habitat. Now they're going into agriculture habitat or agricultural lands. I think this is where I come in with more out-of-the-box ideas that why don't we build Custer into a large city of 25,000 people, because that is close to the freeway, and Custer land is neither good for agriculture, it's not developed, but it's developable. We can build a brand new city like everybody else is doing. New infrastructure, new technology, and a new way of building a planned city, not like by incremental plan. But I think it will take time for people to absorb or community to accept something like this. Urban growth areas is an issue. Cities don't have money to provide the utilities the way our GMA says that you cannot provide the utilities in UGA until it is annexed. So that's a conundrum, right? And cities have to raise taxes, which is not a good proposition either. So I think that we have to sit down together as a community, all the cities, and work through this issue one piece at a time.
Yes, my name is Alicia Rule, and I'm currently serving as your state representative. Yes, well, the very first thing that I think I want to talk about is that we have to work together. Anytime that we're solving problems in our community here, we have to listen first and pay attention to the stakeholders who are trying to solve this problem. And that's something that I really pride myself in, that I can usually bring people together that have very unlikely positions and come out with outcomes that are really good and work for everybody. So that's what I intend to do in this role. Particularly on the urban growth boundaries, I do think we need to take a look at what we've been doing, and we have to ask the hard questions. We are now in a position where we are, I think many of us, looking at shared values that are very similar, but we have to look at how is it possible that we can hold two things at the same time that are important to us and navigate sophisticated, complex solutions to that. So for example, affordability and also prioritizing our climate goals. Doing that is harder work than picking one or the other, but it's really important that we do both. It is unacceptable for us to ignore the realities of climate change, and it is absolutely unacceptable that people are living on our streets. So we've got to be able to press forward, taking in all sides and working with more complex solutions than we have ever before.
Thank you for listening to this KMRE Conversation with the primary candidates, a collaboration between Whatcom Community College and KMRE News. You can hear more from each of the candidates by listening every day after the 5 p.m. news or by going to kmre.org.